Welcome to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster. I'm back with you, and I'm looking forward to the final day of glorious Goodwood on Saturday, the 2nd of August. Yes, one of the big meetings of the year is drawing to an end on Saturday. It has been an extraordinary week with all sorts of shocks and surprises and big prize winners and weather from good to firm ground to heavy on the same day as we had on Thursday. So it's been a really topsy-turvy week, but I'm delighted to say that if you followed me at Out in Front, you'll be masses ahead. After the first 3 days, we were £448 up to level £10 each way stakes after a couple of big winners, as well as a number of big placed efforts. If you want to sign up and join me for 4 more selections on Saturday at Out in Front, you'll find the link in the description box just below this screen. But here at Sportsbet, I'm offering my selections for free. And again, if you're new to the service, just press the subscribe button below this screen and you'll be able to follow all my selections. Nearly always at good each way prices each and every time I post them. Of course, there's a limited number of selections I offer here nowadays at Sportsbet TV, but I'm still committed to offer you a few thoughts going into the weekend. But as I say, if you want to hear more about my selections, which are in terrific form at the moment at Out in Front, you can do so via the link in the box below the screen. Right, well, my selections for you, and I've got 2 of them. They're in the same race on Saturday, the Stewards Cup at Goodwood the 305, one of the big sprint handicaps of the season, and there are 28 runners. Now, one of the biggest challenges for this race this year, apart from trying to find the winner in a 28 runner handicap, is what on earth is the ground going to be? On Thursday, we started racing on ground that was on the far side of Gun, and then the heavens opened. It was torrential, over an inch of rain within half an hour, and that turned the ground to heavy. But Goodwood, as I'm sure those of you that follow racing regularly in Britain will know, is a course that, along with Doncaster, dries faster than any other in Britain. And already on Friday morning, they were saying it was good to soft in places. Now, if we have no more rain through Friday and into Saturday, I believe it's quite possible that even though it was heavy on Thursday, it could be good ground on Saturday. But if the showers come, we're going to have some juice underfoot. So we've got to bear that in mind. Loads and loads of permutations as far as the ground is concerned. Because of that, I'm dividing my stakes in this race, and I'm dividing it into 2. Now, on soft ground, high numbers are normally favoured on the 6 furlong track at Goodwood. But as it happens, most of those drawn high this year, including last year's winner, Get It for George Baker, who's also gone on to win the Wokingham Handicap at Ascot this June, as well as the recent international handicap winner 2 Tribes for Richard Spencer, the bang-in form Richard Hannon trained Sirs, who's won 3 of his last 4 and has Ryan Moore on board, as well as Anaf for Michael Appleby. They're all drawn high, but they're all usually at their best on a sound surface. The only clear exception amongst those drawn high is the top weight Apollo 1, trained by Peter Charalambos, who was second in the race last year. He's run placed in so many big handicaps. He's drawn right under the stands fence in 28, and he goes on any ground from good to firm to heavy. So Apollo 1 could be a danger if the ground is on the easy side. Elmon Jed for William Haggis is amongst the favourites. He's penalised for his win in the Sky Bet Dash, a big money race at York last time. He's coming out of stall 8, which is towards the far side of the track. He could well run a really big race, especially if the ground dries out. But the only favourite is now Hammer the Hammer for Kevin Ryan, who's over on the far side in stall 4. He's been in fine form this term, and most recently was runner-up over 5 furlongs at Royal Ascot in the Palace of Holyrood House Handicap. He's equally effective over the 6 furlong of the Stewards Cup. And then right over on the far side, in stall 1, is Completely Random, trained by Harry Charlton. Now, he's £4 better off for just 2 lengths with Get It for finishing 5th in the Wokingham at Royal Ascot last time and has definite prospects. While Charles Hills' Orazio is in stall 3, and on his 3rd place in last year's Wokingham Handicap, he'd have to be a contender. He's £3 lower than that now, but he hasn't been in great form since then. So what about the centre of the course? Well, of those drawn in the centre, Corker, who I tipped you last week at York, he's in stall 17 for Carl Burke, and you probably saw for yourself he got no sort of run on the Knavesmire last week. and he'd arrived at the race in pretty good form, so he could run well. While the veteran St. Lawrence for Archie Watson and Robert Cowell's Jack Ajaro, who stayed on well to be fifth over 5 furlongs earlier in the week at Goodwood, are others to consider. So, what are my selections then? Well, as I say, I'm going with two, and the first one of them is Run Boy Run, trained by Richard Spencer, who had a big winner earlier or last month, as it was now. And this horse is ridden by George Wood. He's drawn fairly central in stall 19, which might end up being the best place to be. He's been running consistently well this season. He went close against the inform Aramram at Newbury in May, and then has been running well since without troubling the judge, both in the Buckingham Palace Handicap at Royal Ascot and then in the Bunbury Cup at Newmarket last time out, both of those over 7 furlongs. Now, just to sharpen him up a touch more, Richard Spencer has put a first-time visor on, which could just eke out that little bit more improvement and keep him right on the job here, Run Boy Run. And he is 22 to 1 each way for 6 places with bet 365 at the time of this recording. So I think he's going to give us a good run for our money. My other selection, or taking all things into consideration, I've decided that last year's winner, Get It, trained by George Baker in the Mount of Pat Cosgrave, has been a real star for the Epsom-based handler, and I think he's going to go really well again. You'll remember he sprang a 40 to 1 shock in this race 12 months ago, showing absolutely blistering speed, but then keeping on well to win from stall 28 on the stand side, landing a famous victory for Connections. But that proved no flash in the pan. Now a 7-year-old, this spring at Ascot in May, he broke the track record, again showing terrific pace for the first 4 furlongs and keeping on well. And then he defied a £7 higher mark back at Ascot and he went and did it again in another really big handicap, the Wokingham at the Royal Meeting. The fractions he produced through the first 2 or 3 furlongs were really blistering. And remember that Ascot is an uphill track, so it gives those chasing him a better chance of catching him. But at Goodwood, it's downhill all the way after the first 150 yards or so. So I think that if he gets away quick from a high draw in stall 27 this time, I think Get It, despite being much higher in the weights, is going to run very, very well indeed. Now, if there's another deluge on soft ground, he's not going to be as effective. So you might choose to just put all your eggs in one basket and go with Run Boy Run. But if it's drying out and it's something like good to soft in places, that'll be okay, forget it. If it's good, then we're really in business because this horse is just getting faster as he gets older. And for 6 places at the time of this message, with William Hill at 9 to 1, I think Get It is going to run another massive race and there'll be a massive celebration for the George Baker team who know how to celebrate if he does a legendary double of the Wokingham and the Stewards Cup in the same season. He's already won both races in different seasons. So those are my two for what is a very, very interesting Stewards Cup, giving all the uncertainty about the ground. Whatever you're backing, I wish you the very best of luck, and I'll be back with you with another message at the same time next week. Bye-bye for now.